Dodger Baseball. KTLA Sports presents Los Angeles Dodger Baseball. Live from the Kingdome in Seattle, the Dodgers take on the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everybody. A very pleasant Sunday, and particularly a very happy Father's Day to all concerned. The Dodgers and the Mariners wrapping up a brief two-game series, the fourth of interleague play for the Dodgers. They split two in Oakland, and they're battling today to get a split with the Mariners. They'll give the ball to Ismael Valdez, and he has not been pitching well, so it's somewhat of an unenviable assignment to pitch against the Mariners here in the Kingdome. He brings that 3-7 record against left-hander Jamie Moyer, who certainly has a lot of experience against National League hitters. The Dodgers, when they conclude, will go home and pick up against the Anaheim Angels Tuesday night. Talking about Anaheim, they're playing the Giants. The Dodgers, by losing yesterday, now trail San Francisco by 5. Anaheim, by losing to San Francisco, now trails Seattle by 2.5. And sneaking in between, Texas failing by 2. So we'll be home Tuesday night against Anaheim, but we'll be talking about today and the starting lineups right after this. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. By Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. By Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. By Unical, 76 knows what you want from a gas station. 76, we get it. By your local Arby's. For real adult taste, choose a real adult place. Arby's. And by Farmer John, who provides Southern California with its only strictly fresh, I mean strictly fresh, corn-fed pork and pork products. Farmer John. Welcome to the Kingdome here in Seattle as the Dodgers get ready for their second meeting of the year. What's going on in baseball this interleague Sunday? A couple of notes just to bring you up to date. The New York Mets are coming up short at short. They lost Ray Ordonez diving at a ball. He broke a bone in his hand. Manny Alexander has come down with a bad knee, so they're up to their third shortstop, and that would be Luis Lopez. And by the way, when you talk about records, everybody's talking about home runs. Don't forget Tony Gwynn. He had 99 hits in 62 games. At that pace, he'd have 259, and that would break a George Sisler record that goes back to 1920. And that was with the old St. Louis Browns. And finally, the one trade so far, Fernando Valenzuela going to St. Louis, and left-hander Danny Jackson going to San Diego. Right now, as we look down on the field, and the umpires four meeting with Bill Russell just to the left of the plate, Durwood Merrill is the plate umpire, Dale Scott, Dave Phillips, and Rocky Rowe in that order. The lineup cards have been exchanged, and we're just a minute or so away. As Jamie Moyer tunes up, here's the Dodger lineup. Butler was the DH yesterday, but he's back in center. Then you have Zio, Piazza the DH, Karras at first, Mondesi in right field. Billy Ashley against the left-hander will be in left. Greg Gagne, Tom Prince, and I must tell you a story about Tom Prince when he's coming up to hit, so remind me. And then Wilton Guerrero will be at second base. Jamie Moyer, he has been in a lot of places. He's pitched for the Cubs, Texas, the Cardinals, Baltimore, Boston, and Seattle in his career. He is a fellow who suddenly, at the ripe old age of 33, had his finest year last year. He was a starter reliever for the Boston Red Sox, and he was 7-1. Then, the end of July, he was traded to Seattle for Darren Bragg, and he went 4-1 here. So he wound up with a brilliant 13-3 record. As baseball people say, he can't black your eye. He throws a change off a change, a change off a change off a change. Lou Piniella says he never puts two pitches in the same location, and he never throws two pitches the same speed. His fastball, at its best, will be in the mid-80s, but he is very smart. Meanwhile, he's backed up in center field by the sock of Ken Griffey Jr., and we're going to be visiting with Ken on the postgame show on this Father's Day. Strike to Butler. So we had Brett Butler, who is celebrating his 40th birthday today. So we had him on the pregame show, and if we have a chance, we'd show you the hat that his wife Eveline had made up for him to wear all during batting practice. Ground ball to third, right to Russ Davis. One away. There is the hat. Has a big 40 on it and a magnifying glass to see, Advil for headaches, everything imaginable she had made up for that hat, including a little leather luggage tag that said, if found, return to Eveline. Well, Butler at 40, grounds out, one away. Todd Zeile will be coming up. Fouled away. Last year, Jamie Moyer allowed 23 home runs. Of course, pitching in this ballpark, home runs a byproduct. The Mariners have hit 98 home runs, and there have been 88 home runs hit in this park already this year. Ground ball to first. That'll do it for Zeile. 2 down, and Mike Piazza will be coming up. Now, Piazza is really having fun so far against American League pitching. He's had 9 hits in 3 games, 2 against Oakland, and then he came up with 4 hits and a walk yesterday. He had 2 doubles, a single, and a home run. He's never had a 5-hit game, and when he came up in the 9th inning yesterday, they prudently walked him. Might be the only time we can say it today. No score. Top of the first. That'll give you an idea what he's been doing. Can you imagine? Over almost 600 in the streak, over 500 in June. 0-1. The count. In watching yesterday's game, there were 7 home runs hit and a bunch of doubles. The total 17 runs, 22 hits. And I was shocked to find out that Seattle has actually been shut out once in the Kingdome. Who do you think it would be? That's right, a junk pitcher, Bob Tewksbury, with great control, off speed. And he's the only pitcher to shut out Seattle anywhere. But to do it here, not quite, but almost like Nomo pitching the no-hitter at Coors Field. Fouled away. Still 1-2. Nomo with Antonio Osuna talking to him, and Ramon sitting on the other side of Hideo. The Angels will go up against Nomo Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium. Chan Ho Park against Chuck Finley Tuesday night. One ball and 2 strikes. So Piazza having a great run, not only in his 8-game streak. He's hit in 14 of his last 16, 23 of his last 28. In fact, for a month, 28 games, that's a month. He's hit .438. Tom Prince will do the catching as Mike Piazza's the DH. Down he goes. So that's Jamie Moyer, and Piazza went fishing. And at the end of half an inning, Dodgers nothing, Mariners coming up. we're going to the bottom half. The Dodgers and the Mariners. And now it's Ismael Valdez's turn to get on the firing line. With a 3-7 record, here are the people he'll try to get out. And that would be little Joey Cora at second base. Jose Cruz Jr. will be in left field. Ken Griffey Jr. will be in center. Edgar Martinez, the DH. Jay Buhner in right field. Paul Sorrento at first base. Dan Wilson behind the plate. Russ Davis, who hit the 9th inning home run yesterday to beat the Dodgers. He's at third. And Alfredo Espinosa at shortstop because Alex Rodriguez is still out. So those are Valdez numbers, a very good ERA. And I guess the biggest thing, look at the home runs allowed. Only 3. That's the thing. We'll see whether that changes dramatically or not against this wrecking crew of the Seattle Mariners. Valdez, by the way, is 1-4 on the road. So here we go. A strike to Joey Cora. You may remember when Joey played in San Diego, having a big year with the bat. He hit .291 last year. You may remember also last year he had an 18-game hitting streak. During that streak, he picked up 80 points in his batting average. Switch hitter, and pretty good from either side of the plate. It was kind of shocking last year when he hit 6 home runs, because his previous career high was 3. And this year, he has a half a dozen again. Two and one. Fouled away. Joey Cora, normally when he swings the bat, he's going to hit the ball. Not necessarily for a base hit, not even for an out. Foul it off. But he's going to hit it most of the time. They figured out he misses only 6% of all his swings. Remarkable. Hit foul. Play down the line. Still 2-2. Runs very well. The top 2 speedsters for Seattle would be Cora and sometime outfielder Rich Amaral. Hit foul again, so he's showing how he can fight off pitches. Oh, happy Father's Day indeed. You want to talk about golden time? I hope you have your son nearby. Give him a hug for us. And daughter, of course. Sure. Popped in the air, foul. Coming down the line is Karras. Prince is out there. Makes the catch. 1 away. The Mariners playing very well. They hit a real slump coming into the end of May, but they turned it around. They've won 4 straight, 10 of their last 12, and Lou Piniella has seen his team win the last 6 straight indoors, and they have not been that good a home team. Look at the numbers. They had that neat little game 12-11 here with Colorado, and then yesterday's 9-8. Foul back. Jose Cruz Jr. So since he is younger than Ken Griffey, Griffey's 27. So Griffey is senior junior, and Cruz is junior junior. But boy, did he age yesterday. Jose walked and struck out 4 times. That's a long day. One of the problems, Lou Piniella said, the kid hit 2 home runs, each with a man aboard in Detroit. So suddenly he went full crazy. He was going to hit home runs everywhere, and that's not the way to do it. So he immediately went into a slump. 3-1. Pop foul. His father was a solid player. Almost a franchise player for Houston. And here's a chip off the old block. 3-2. Bottom of the first inning. We're just starting. The chairs are barely warm. No score with 1 away. Both games sold out. Yesterday we had 57,345, and the games have been sold out for weeks. Fastball missed. And now look out. We could spend maybe an hour talking about Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, you gotta love him, all right, unless you're pitching against him. Ken Griffey Jr., so far, with his 27 home runs, is averaging a home run a little more than every 9 at-bats. Those are some of the other numbers for the youngest. Who are the guys who were younger to get to 250? How about old Double X, as they used to call him, Jimmy Fox, then Eddie Matthews, then Mel Ott, and then number 4, Ken Griffey Jr. The sky is the limit for this kid. Right. His father, of course, played in the big leagues, and then that precious time when both of them took the field, with Ken Griffey Sr. playing left field and Jr. playing center. That lasted for, I believe, about 6 weeks. Cruz at first, 1 out. Ken Griffey one day on the road. The ball club was really struggling, and he decided they'd have to change those long sleeve practice jerseys. So he bought 40 double knit game jerseys in a blue color that he liked. Each shirt cost $90. And they went out and won. So in a sense, he's the leader on this club in a lot of ways. Ball 2, 2-1. He's going to be our guest on the postgame show because it is Father's Day and because he and his dad played side by side. That made that historic. So we thought you'd like to know about a superstar, not about the way he hits the ball, but his relationship with his own son and with his father. So a little different on the postgame show, a somewhat intimate chat with George. Yeah, that's his first name. George Kenneth Griffey Jr. Trying to punch a hole in the roof. 2-2. Take a look at this swing. That time it produced nothing, but it has done a lot of damage to a lot of pitchers. 2-2. Foul tipped, and down he goes. It happens. For the record, Griffey has now struck out 50 times. Two down, first inning, and Edgar Martinez coming up. Another guy who can hit the ball out of sight. Last year, he was hitting .334 with 44 doubles the last week of July as a DH. And Lou Piniella decided to shift him to third base. He collided with catcher John Marzano in pursuit of a pop fly, suffered 4 fractured ribs. And even though he still hit .300 when he returned, he wasn't quite the same hitter. So he wound up with 26 home runs, 103 RBIs, and they've decided to keep him as the DH this year. One thing about Martinez, he tries to cheat in one respect, and a lot of hitters will do it. He tries to wipe out a corner of the back line of the batter's box, and his right foot is barely touching it. You can see the toes, but the heel is out of the box. So he's as far back as the law allows. He's always done that. Like any good hitter, he is not afraid to get deep into the count. So it's no surprise he sees more pitchers than any other hitter in the American League. 2-0. No score, first inning. So Valdez went 3-0 and walked Cruz. Now he's 3-0 on Edgar Martinez. And on deck, Jay Buhner. Well, they're keeping an eye on Jose Cruz. So you walk him. I guess after watching yesterday's game, 9-8, watching 7 home runs and balls bouncing everywhere, that for Valdez, he might be a little bit intimidated trying to make perfect pitches, and consequently, he's walked 2. Now he's got a big right-hand hitter to contend with, Jay Buhner. Now, Buhner is a strikeout hitter. He swings a lot and misses, but he also swings and hits, and when he hits them, look out. Last year, 44 home runs and 138 runs batted in. Last year, he might have hit more, except he sprained a thumb and missed a week. And he has a different batting stance. A high fly ball to center. It's playable. Butler is there. And that'll be that. 2 walks, 2 left. And at the end of an inning, the Dodgers nothing, the Mariners nothing. And Rene Cardenas bringing you all the action in Spanish on the KTLA secondary audio program channel and on KWKW radio, 1330 AM. Ismael Valdez getting out of a first inning scrape. So it'll be Eric Karras, Raul Mondesi, and Billy Ashley against Jamie Moyer. We'll watch Valdez because you know how he's played with a blister. But this looks like it's on his left hand. The right hand is the one that always bothers him. Now he's got one on the left. Eric Karras yesterday had 2 home runs, 1 with a man aboard. He has a dozen and 35 ribbies. High foul off first. Sorrento coming over. No play. They have a lot of speakers suspended from the roof, and every now and then they have caused some problems. The bulk of the speakers are in foul ground. One and 2. And that's a drive to left. That might go all the way to the wall. As Cruz, it is gone. So Eric Karras hits his 3rd home run in 2 days, his 13th home run, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. But if it's anything like yesterday, you ain't seen nothing yet. '89 home runs have been hit in this ballpark so far. They've only played 32 games plus today. So it is really a shooting gallery. And later on, the Mariners will go to Coors Field. That game might never end. So Eric sitting back and resting, 1-0 Dodgers. Mondesi sounded like he cracked the bat. Espinosa will take care of him. 1 away. By the way, congratulations. KTLA has selected its 5th winner in the KTLA Dodgers It's a Hit contest. Conrad Corral has won tickets to an exciting Dodger-Giant game in San Francisco. Round-trip airfare provided by our friends at Southwest Airlines. He'll stay at the beautiful DoubleTree Hotel. Congratulations again, Conrad. By the way, a new winner is chosen each week, so keep on counting those hits. Billy Ashley. Ball one. Ashley has hit safely in each of his last 9 starts. But, of course, coming off the bench is another story. That's what really hurt his average. As a pinch hitter, a big free swinger, he's only 2 for 14. 1-1. Dodgers 1, Mariners nothing. Top of the 2nd inning. Right down the pipe. 2-2. Jamie Moyer out of Sellersville, Pennsylvania. He'll be 35 in November. Much traveled, much experienced left-hander. High fly ball into right field. Back to the wall goes Buhner. It is off the top of the scoreboard. Ashley is into second base with a double. Didn't quite get it, maybe another foot or two, and that would have been out. So a double to right for Billy Ashley. Take another look. Up and away, and Ashley just went with it. And we'll see how close. We don't know. But it was very high off the wall. So the batter now is Greg Gagne. One ball and no strikes to Greg. 1 out. Ashley at second. 1-0 Dodgers. There's a shot inside the line and down into the bullpen. Ashley will score. Gagne going into second. The ball is somewhere under the bench, and they'll send him back. There's where it's stuck, underneath the bench. Great, he can remember that. Coming up now is Tom Prince. And we promised to tell you a story about Prince. And actually, it's about Tom Prince and relief pitcher Darren Hall. You know, the Dodgers got here from Oakland the other night, and the bags arrived in the lobby at about 3:15 in the morning. And when the rest of us were just grumbling about not having much sleep, Dave Wright, the Dodger equipment man, had to take all the equipment here, wash all the shirts and everything else at 3:30 in the morning to get them ready for the team who would arrive at 11. Well, Tom Prince is this kind of a guy. He thought, well, that's crazy. Wright could use some help. So Tom Prince and Darren Hall, not the spoiled ball player you've heard about, Darren Hall, along with Prince, came here at 3:30 in the morning with David Wright and trainer Stan Johnson. And they helped wash the uniforms, helped hang them up, and then they had batting practice at 5:30 in the morning, just for the fun of it, just to stay awake, really. But isn't that great? You hear so many stories about this guy's making so much, and he's so, well, here's a big league player who never forgot washing up uniforms early in the morning to help out David Wright. I just think that's the best story of the year. There's Darren Hall, who went there and did it with him. The Cowboy, Stan Johnson, another man who didn't have to do it, but out of the goodness of his heart did it. Great, just great. One and two to count to Tom Prince. So the Dodgers, with a home run and 2 doubles here in the inning, But it means nothing here. I mean, really nothing. You know, last year the Orioles set the single-season record for home runs with 257, but the Mariners set the mark for extra base hits. They had 607 extra base hits. In fact, 4 of the top 5 team totals for extra base hits in Major League history were attained last year in the American League. Seattle, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Texas. The previous record of 580 extra base hits, that was held by one of the great teams of all time, the 1936 Yankees. But today, wow, 2-2. Ball 3. So Ken Griffey Jr., sure, he's enjoying extra base hits and home runs. And what's going to be unfair, ballparks like this one and Coors Field, the great records of hitting will go down the drain. And that's going to be whacked into the left field corner. Foul. You think a fellow with as good a heart as Tom Prince would get a break once in a while and get the extra base hit, huh? So Karras homered with 1 out. Ashley doubled high off the scoreboard and right. Gagne doubled inside the left field foul line. And it's 3-2 with Prince trying to pick him up. High fly ball, shallow line. Here comes Cruz. So Gagne has nowhere to go. 2 down, and the batter will be Wilton Guerrero.
Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 30, Will Guerrero.
Wilton Guerrero, in yesterday's ball game, 1 for 4, and in the 8th inning yesterday, with a runner at third and the infield up, he hit a bullet, and somehow Russ Davis reacted and backhanded the ball, even though he was well upside the bag at third. So Wilton very close to 2 hits yesterday. Gagne at second, 2 out. Off speed, you better wait for it if you're batting against Jamie Moyer. Ground ball wide of third. Davis is on it. That'll be that. So the Dodgers get a home run, and they also get back-to-back doubles, and they get 2. And Eric Karros lit the torch, and the Dodgers are leading 2-0. A reminder, cooler bag night Tuesday, the 24th. The Dodgers continue their series with the Colorado Rockies. All fans in attendance receive a Dodger Blue cooler bag, compliments of Coca-Cola and Thrifty Payless. Call 213-224-1-HIT. Bottom of the second inning, and Paul Sorrento will start it off. Sorrento, in a sense, has been a very pleasant surprise since coming over from Cleveland. After the '95 season, Seattle attempted to sign Tino Martinez, but he wanted around $2 million a year, and the Mariners didn't want to pay him. So Martinez moved on to New York, where he got about $4 a year. And the Mariners figured that Sorrento might be the answer. And sure enough, last year he had 23 home runs, 93 RBIs. Sorrento with 9 home runs and 28 RBIs right now. He's big and he's slow, but he can hit. High drive into right field. Back goes Mondesi at the wall. It's gone. Remember at the start of the game, We were mentioning that Ismael Valdez had only allowed 3 home runs all year until today. So Sorrento takes him deep, and just like that, Dodgers 2, Mariners 1. And the batter will be Dan Wilson. So Sorrento hits it out. His 10th home run of the year. Dan Wilson, a very good defensive catcher, last year hit 7 home runs in the month of April. That would be 2 short of his career high. Drives that to the gap. Butler on the run to pick it off. 1 away. Take another look at that home run. Carry me back to Paul Sorrento. Fastball right out over the plate. And that's gone. So Sorrento can sit back for the moment. It's 2-1 Dodgers, and the batter is Russ Davis. Davis homered in the 9th inning yesterday to win the game for Seattle. He's had home runs in back-to-back games. The one he hit yesterday, he hit against Antonio Osuna. Near the end of May, he had a career-high 6th home run. 0-2 the count. Now he has 9. As Piniella calls him, a tough kid. Down he goes. So with 2 home runs today, there have been 90 home runs hit in the Kingdome in 32 games. 90. So how in the world can you talk about this team in the 1936 Yankees team when they have 90 home runs hit indoors? No knock on you, Kenny Babe, but it's a different world. Alfredo Espinosa, he's playing shortstop because Alex Rodriguez can't play. That's the one disappointment we had coming up here. Rodriguez trying to score from third on a play at the plate. Roger Clemens covered the throw, came down with a knee, and got Rodriguez right in the chest, in the breastbone. He could barely breathe, and he's not able to even try to swing the bat yet. What a player he is. The Dodgers wanted him desperately, but they couldn't draft him. Zeal, an Asquith bounce. Smart play. So Espinosa out on a heads-up play by Todd Zeal. And at the end of 2, Dodgers 2, Mariners 1. 2-1 Dodgers. We're heading for the 3rd inning here at the Kingdome. This day in baseball history, in 1992, Jeff Reardon, who was really chewed up and booed as a Montreal reliever, went on to establish a great record, 342 saves, helping the Yankees to defeat as the Red Sox beat them 1-0. Record previously held by Rollie Fingers. A strike to the birthday boy, Brett Butler, 40 years old today, grounded to third in the 1st inning. Speed, 1-1. Jamie Moyer, you may or may not know, he's the son-in-law of the pretty famous basketball coach at Notre Dame, Digger Phelps. Right. 1-2 the count. Dodgers have a home run and 2 doubles. The Mariners have a home run, and it's 2-1 Dodgers in the 3rd. Bat, because that's the difference between Butler and Ashley. Butler with that short stroke, when he loses the bat, it usually stays on the infield. With Ashley, it barely stays on earth. One and two. Remember when Wilton Guerrero was up at the plate and he swung at a changeup and backed out with an embarrassed grin on his face? You're hearing so much these days about the 95-mile-an-hour fastball and the 100-mile-an-hour. That's fought away. Well, the pitch to Wilton Guerrero, where he started his swing yesterday, that pitch was clocked at 56 miles an hour. That's less than BP. And it really fooled him for the moment. To the Butler. He was telling us today he shares his birthday with Dusty Baker. He lost it again. That's embarrassing. Well, I don't know. Eveline forgot to put stickum on the cap. She gave him all those different things to remind him about being 40. He needs something to keep the bat in his hands, and you can bet they'll be teasing him about that. Just losing control, fouled it away. Butler squeezed in a run yesterday. Great at bat against left-handed Norm Charlton. Still up there. He got a piece of it. Wilson couldn't hold it. Butler has hit safely in 20 of the last 25 games he's played. So he's been very consistent, hitting .326. Dodgers head home tonight. We'll have the Anaheim Angels at Dodger Stadium Tuesday night. Canhole Park and Chuck Finley in the dirt. Wednesday night at Deo Nomo, but the Angels are undecided, at least for now. Again on a foul ball, this time just out in front of the plate. Oh, they're really teasing Butler. Not only do they put up on the board that he is 40, only the fourth center fielder to play center field at the age of 40, but they also played, come on, Snoopy, hang on, after he lost the bat a third time. 2-2 to number 22. Fouled away. So quite a battle going on here. Jamie Moyer and Brett Butler. Who were the other center fielders to play at the age of 40? Johnny Cooney, going way back to the 41 Braves. Doc Kramer of the Detroit Tigers. And Willie Mays of the Giants in 1971. A drive to center. Griffey is there. One down. And the batter will be Todd Zeile. Todd Zeile grounded out in the first inning. Rolled one to Paul Sorrento. Todd hitting .225. But in the last 9, he's perked up a little bit. One out, top of the third. Dodgers 2, Mariners 1. Breaking ball. Ball 1. Moyer, mid-80 fastball, lots of off-speed pitches. And that curveball was 71 fastball. So he goes from a 71-mile-an-hour curveball to a mid-80s fastball, and that's the way it is with him. Different speeds, different pitches, different locations all day long. Right. coming in with a 5-2 record. In his National League career, he was 1-3 against the Dodgers. That's another strike. 2-2. Jamie just ready now to make his 50th pitch. Ground foul. We were talking to Lou Piniella about yesterday's ball game. 9, 8, 7 home runs, 22 hits, 8 pitchers. He shrugged and said, "It's that way every day." Little ground ball to short. Espinosa will take care of him. 2 down in the third. On the scoreboard, the Giants just scored twice, so they're leading the Angels 2-0 in the fourth. Oakland leading Colorado 3-1 in the fourth. Cubs leading Milwaukee 4-2 in the ninth. Montreal defeated Detroit 10-2. Toronto over Philadelphia 11-1. White Sox 14-4 over Cincinnati in the 8th inning. Kansas City beat Pittsburgh 8-1. Little ground ball to third. Davis was so deep, he not only can't make the play, he throws it away. They will stop Piazza at second. He looks back over his shoulder, and a perfect throw would have hung him out to dry. So it's a good thing he stopped. Big throw by Jay Buhner. Probably be 1-1, base hit and an error, and that's what it is. I mean, you can't blame Russ Davis to be very deep on Piazza and on a topper up along third. Then the wild throw. And Piazza's running well. One reason being he's had a couple of days off as a DH. He hasn't had to squat and bend behind the plate. So he's at third with 2 out, and Eric Karras coming up. Dodgers leading 2-1, top of the third. Baltimore defeated Atlanta 5-3. Florida leading the Yankees 5-4 in the 9th inning. Cleveland beat St. Louis 4-2. No report. Boston and the Mets at Shea Stadium. Karras with a home run in the 2nd inning. Ball 1. Eric with 13 home runs. He's at 3 in this ballpark yesterday, and then first time up today. You know, you hear people in Seattle say, if we only had good pitching. And you hear people in Coors Field in Colorado, if we only had good pitching. How in the world can you have good pitching? Right. 2-1. Hope we'll see you Tuesday night. Canho Park and Chuck Finley. Dodgers and Angels for keeps. Swing, ball 3. That's Dale Scott, coach umpiring at first. So Piazza at second with 2 out. 3-1 the count to Karras. In this ballpark, I assume he's got the hit sign. Just a question of whether he likes the location. Three and 2. On deck, Raul Mondesi. Just hanging around. Little ground ball to the right side. Easy play for Cora. So a base hit and error. The Dodgers leave Piazza. And at the end of 2.5, 2-1, Dodgers. A father and son enjoying golden time together on this Father's Day. We send along our warmest wishes to all involved. Passing the baton, no matter how young, boy or girl. Great faces in the crowd. Joey Cora fouled out in the first inning, hitting .346, and one reason, for over a month, actually for 6 weeks, he's hit better than .400. Not that time. One away. The batter, Jose Cruz, who walked in the first inning. Interesting now, he's been at bat 6 times against the Dodgers, and he hasn't hit the ball yet. He walked once and struck out 4 times yesterday, and then walked in the first inning today. As Pinella was saying about him, he's been pulling off the ball too much, trying to hit home runs. Yeah, they've got the juniors and the Jays here. Ball 2. George Kenneth Griffey Jr. on deck. Remember, we're going to visit with him on the postgame show. 2-0. Sure makes it tough, doesn't it? Talk about teamwork. Ball 3, and now he's aboard. So that would be the 3rd walk given up by Ismael Valdez. And now he gets into the deep water with Griffey, Martinez, and Junior.
Number 24, Griffey.
Griffey Jr. Boy, what a story up here. In fact, they just call him Junior. There's nothing else. I was asking him on the interview, should I call you Ken or should I call you Junior when your first name is George? And he said, my mother calls me by my full name when she's angry. George Kenneth Griffey Jr., how dare you do that? He said everybody else calls him Junior, but his wife calls him Ken. Well, a rose by any other name. At least half of his home runs are hit here. So he is a more formidable man in this ballpark, but he's still a lot of trouble away. One of the biggest home runs he hit was in Anaheim. They said it went about 490, and I mean, he just smoked it. Ball 1. 1-1. Married. He has a little boy, Trey. Rather than call him Ken Griffey III, he's Trey. And then he has a daughter, Taryn, T-A-R-Y-N. You know, we're talking about numbers and records before, how they're all going to fall because of ballparks like this and Coors Field. They talk about how Ken Griffey Jr. had the most home runs by the end of May, 24. But, gee, you have to remember, they never started the season March 31st or April 1st in the old days. So, again, no knock on him, but he played many more games. I mean, we used to open up the season in the middle of April. So he had a 2-week jump. Three and 1 the count. There goes the runner, and the pitch is high, so he's aboard. So Valdez is going to get himself in a whole lot of trouble walking so many in this ballpark. It's like lighting a fuse. Tom Prince out there to get him to throw strikes, and the batter is Edgar Martinez, and he walked in the first inning. Edgar homered against Ramon yesterday. Martinez has hit in 40 of his last 46 games. 2-1 Dodgers, 2 on, 1 out. Ball 1. A man who really feasts with men on base. Look at those RBIs. Valdez is ready to make his 50th pitch. Fouled away. Ramon Martinez yesterday, to show you how cautious and intimidated a visiting pitcher must be here. Ramon Martinez yesterday, in 4 innings, not only walked 5, he made 100 pitches in 4 innings. I mean, they're just afraid to come in over the strike zone. 1-1. Popped in the air, back of first. Karras in foul ground. The runners have to hold. So Martinez fouls to Karras. That'll bring up Jay Buhner.
Right fielder, number 19, Jay Buhner.
Jay Buhner, he'll be 33 later on. Well put together. 6'3", 210. The big right fielder checks in. They wave those black caps up here. They look like heat bugs, heat flies. Dodgers 2, Mariners 1, 2 out, 2 on, bottom of the 3rd. Right. A different batting stance completely for Buhner. He's deep in the box. His feet are very close together. See, he's almost out of the box. But he is turned around, almost facing the hitter, the pitcher. But then he strides in. Very aggressive hitter. He also pays the price and strikes out a lot. Led the league striking out last year, 159. He has 16 home runs, 50 runs batted in. We saw his arm in the 3rd inning. Cruz at second, Griffey at first, 2 out. So Valdez, you don't want to say he's pitching scared, but he is sure trying to make perfect pitches, not just strikes. 3-1 to Jay Buhner. One time last year, Buhner homered in 5 straight games. He has hit 226 home runs in his big league career. 44 last year. Runners go on ball 4. So Valdez has walked the house, and the batter will be Paul Sorrento, who homered in the 2nd inning. It looks like, with the bases loaded, Valdez will pitch from a stretch to try to improve his control. A hopper for a base hit. In comes Cruz. In comes Griffey. And it is 3-2 Mariners in the third inning. Sorrento has knocked in all three, but again, we are just starting here. It's hard hats and seat belts when you're seeing a game in the Kingdome. A high fastball just banged the other way. Ashley had trouble with it, but stopping at second was Buhner. And now the batter is the catcher, Dan Wilson. Ashley almost threw a shoe on the far turn. The big catcher flied to center in the second inning. Started off a house of fire, and he has gone on a downward slide ever since. Mariners 3, Dodgers 2, bottom of the third. We're just warming up. This is the overture. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tadeo calmly working on his nails. He'll pitch Wednesday night. Better than biting. Ball 2. Boy, is Valdez struck. And that's what you do if you're a coach or a manager. You just sit there and dive for him a little. Most walks Valdez had given up prior to today. 3. That's going to go foul. He walked 3 men way back on the 3rd of May. I mean, he never walks a lot of them, but he'd never pitched in the Kingdome before. So he's walked 5 already today. Jay Buhner at second, Paul Sorrento at first. 2 out, 2 in, 3-2 Seattle. And the Dodgers really sleepless in Seattle. Pitch got him. So the Mariners settle for 2. Ross will be along in a minute, and at the end of 3, 3-2 Seattle.
Hi, everybody. A good Sunday to you from Seattle. A happy Father's Day to all you dads. You know, a year ago, Ismael Valdez had the most quality starts, highest percentage of any pitcher in Major League Baseball, but now he's faltering. This is only the 2nd time in his career he's walked 5 men in a game. You got to go back 2 years when he did it against the Cubs, and we only played 3 innings today. So the Dodgers are going to have to come from behind, and Raul Mondesi ready to lead off in the 4th against Jamie Moyer of the Mariners. Mondesi had his 8-game hitting streak halted yesterday, and then he bounced out to shortstop his first time up this afternoon. The Dodgers were retired in order only once yesterday, and the Mariners just twice. That was some game. 9-8 Mariners with 7 home runs. Throwing his best pitch, the changeup, and Mondi out in front, 1-1. Ashley on deck, then Gagne. The Dodgers trailed yesterday 5-0 and later 8-4, and then tied it at 8 before losing on Russ Davis's 9th inning homer off Antonio Osuna. That's a strike. 1-2. Jamie Moyer began the season on the disabled list with a strained flexor muscle in his left forearm. Didn't pitch until May. Missed 5 starts. Hits the bat. 1-2. Valdez not being able to throw strikes today. Moyer is known for his control. Last year, he walked 2 or fewer batters in 20 of 21 starts. And he has not walked any Dodger batter yet today. He's not going to strike out many. He's not going to walk many. He did strike out Piazza in the first inning. Crowded him. 2-2. First time the Dodgers have seen Moyer in 9 years. Remember when he used to be with the Cubs? Digger Phelps' son-in-law. A little low. 3-2 to Mondesi. Slug to the left field corner, but foul. So still 3-2. John Hope Park and then Hideo. Tuesday and Wednesday nights at Dodger Stadium against the Angels. We know Chuck Finley is going to pitch Tuesday night for Anaheim. Terry Collins hasn't decided who the starting pitcher will be Wednesday night for the 7:35 game. Popped up. Moyer calls out the name of Russ Davis, and he's got it. One out. Here comes Billy Ashley. Ashley doubled high off the wall in right field in the second inning. That means he has hit now safely in each of his last 10 starts. And the funny thing was, Moyer shook Wilson off right before he delivered the pitch that Billy whacked. Bounce foul. The Dodgers have played 9 one-run games on the road and lost 8 of them, including yesterday. Down today by a run in the 4th inning. Bouncing up there. 1-1. Another great crowd on hand, 57,000 plus. The Mariners' 7th sellout of the season. 3 years ago, the future of baseball up here was in doubt. Attendance was declining, and so was interest. And then the Mariners made the 1995 playoffs, kept getting better. And now, everything is rosy up here. 1-2 to Ashley. Fans from 42 states have purchased tickets to Mariner home games this season. And he's the big draw. Ashley able to hold up in time. Ball 2, 2-2. The Mariners expect to play in their new $414 million stadium by July of 1999. They had a groundbreaking in March, just south of here. Moyer tried to the corner, didn't get it. That was full count. Seattle management had said they couldn't break even without a new stadium. It'll be open air, have real grass, features a retractable roof. It'll cover the ballpark, but not enclose it. And the change takes care of Ashley. And there's Moyer's second strikeout. Billy way out in front. 2 away. Here's Gagne, who doubled home Ashley 2 innings ago. Lou Piniella was saying that Moyer never puts 2 pitches in the same location and never throws them the same speed. He'll throw his 85-mile-per-hour fastball inside to the right-handed batter, and then he'll try to hit the outside corner with his off-speed pitches. He's got a pretty good curveball. Gagne has never done well at the Kingdome in all his years in the American League with Kansas City and Minnesota. Hit about 180 here and close to 200 at bats. Slices it down the right field side toward the corner and back out of the play, and Buter can't get it. 1-1 to Gagne. Seattle has warmed up. Made a pretty good April. Did not have a good May. Won 11-16 in May, and now they've turned it around. They won 10 of the last 12. They won the last 6 they played here at home. And they still are the only major league team not to be swept in a 2-game series yet this season. Talking to Lou this morning, I said, well, I guess that was a typical game for you here yesterday. He said, oh, yeah, we're immune to those kinds. 9-8, Mariners. Gagne shows bunt. Takes high ball 2, 2-1. Seattle won 21 of his first 34 games this year. That was the best start in franchise history. But then they turned around and lost 13-19. And they were only a 500 club coming into this month. 3-1 to Greg. Tom Prince on deck. Stop from his knees, throws, and got him. What a play by Joey Cora to take a base hit away from Greg Gagne. His brother's in the Dodger farm system, a shortstop. We hope he can do it like that. At the end of 3.5, 3-2 Mariners. There is the tallest pitcher in Major League Baseball, and he may also be the best. Randy Johnson of the Mariners. Randy said today that he played 3 years for Rod Dedeaux at USC, enjoyed all his time there. 3-2 Seattle. There's Russ Davis, yesterday's hero, fouling Valdez's first pitch off. Davis struck out his first time up. Davis has worked a lot with Seattle hitting instructor Lee Elia, the former Cub and Philly manager. Lee's made him aware of staying on his back leg and going the other way, and yesterday Russ went the other way, homered to right to win it. Good to see Lee Elia back. He was out for about 3 weeks. Had a PSA, found that he has prostate cancer, but they're going to treat it. And they're very, very hopeful everything's going to be fine. 1-2 to Davis. Davis suffered a fractured left fibula and severely sprained left ankle last June in Kansas City while chasing down a foul pop-up and sliding on the warning track. He had to get a screw placed in his ankle, which was removed the next month. And Valdez comes out and strikes out Davis to start the Seattle 4th inning. Today's Interleague Scoreboard is brought to you by Home Base. Yankees had mounted quite a rally in Miami. 2 in the 8th, 4 in the 9th to go ahead of the Marlins after 8.5, first of a day-night doubleheader. Baltimore sweeps Atlanta. Montreal clobbers Detroit. Toronto routs Philadelphia. Kansas City bombs Pittsburgh. And the White Sox have a field day in Cincinnati. Here's Espinosa. Alvaro fouls the first one back. Espinosa was signed by the Mariners as a free agent April the 2nd. Filling in for the injured Alex Rodriguez. They think Alex will be back in 4 or 5 days out with that bruised chest. Grounded to right field, a base hit for Espinosa. He singled in a run here yesterday. That's only the 3rd hit for the Mariners. Paul Sereno has the other 2, a solo homer and a 2-run single. And now here's Joey Cora, who made that magnificent play. Completing the home base scoreboard on this Sunday, Cleveland blitzed St. Louis. Chicago's Cubs edged Milwaukee. Houston got a run in the 9th and nipped Minnesota. San Francisco is leading at Anaheim in the 5th. Oakland's got a lead over Colorado. And later, Boston, New York. I think that's Florida, New York, guys, in the second game, day-night doubleheader. Oh, it could be Boston, the Mets. That's right. San Diego and Texas, and we'll also the Yankees-Marlins about 45 minutes after finish the first game. Cora has fouled out and lined out today. Joey had a sensational month of May this year. He had 449 and a 24-game hitting streak, establishing the longest hitting streak by an American League switch hitter in history. He looks at the strike. Pete Rose holds the major league mark for switch hitters. He had safely in 44. But Joey also tied a Mariners record last month. He had 8 consecutive hits in a 3-game series against Baltimore in May. Harold Reynolds, Darnell Coles, and Ken Griffey Jr. also had 8 straight hits for Seattle, and they're terrific. Joey goes the other way, lets the fly ball to Ashley. And this will be the second out. Jose Cruz Jr. coming up. Now, here's a guy who has been struggling. He had struck out 9 times in the last 4 games. And Valdez walks him in both the first and third innings. Now, that's asking for trouble with Griffey Jr. next. He struck Griffey out in the first and then walked Ken in the third. And then he walked Buhner to load him up with 2 outs. And then the Sorrento singled home 2 to give Seattle the lead. Jose Cruz Jr., the 48th different left fielder the Mariners have used since Griffey became the everyday center fielder in 1989. Outside for a ball. Jose Jr. was the 3rd choice in the nation in the draft 2 years ago out of Rice University. Had a good spring training in Arizona this year. Had about 340. A lot of people thought he would stay with the Mariners and be their opening day left fielder. GM Woody Woodward decided to have him start the season in AAA, and he had a so-so month of April. Struggled at the plate, didn't play good defense, missed cutoff men, and he stayed at Tacoma. And then in May he warmed up. He had .414 his last 7 games in the Coast League, and he was called up by the Mariners on May 31st. Pinello was saying that maybe the worst thing that happened to Jose was hitting 2 home runs in the same game in Detroit a few weeks ago. He said he's trying to pull everything, and what I wanted to do is hit line drives over the shortstop. It's funny that Pinello would say that, because Ken Griffey Jr. says when he finds himself trying to pull everything, he calls his dad, and his dad says it's in your wrists, and what you try to do is hit a line drive over the shortstop. Two out. Espinosa at first, 3-2 Mariners in the 4th. And the count 1-0. Woody Woodward has talked to maybe a dozen teams in the last couple of weeks trying to obtain a relief pitcher. That has been Seattle's biggest question mark all along. Here's a drive that may get out of here. It is a home run for Jose Cruz Jr. And the Mariners are leading 5-2. Wonder what Pinella's thinking right now. Not always bad to pull the ball, though, Lou. That's number 4 for young Cruz. And Ismael Valdez, who'd allowed 1 home run in 54 innings, has given up 2 here today in 4 innings. Of course, this is what we call Coors Field West, the Kingdome in Seattle. 5-2 lead in the 4th inning doesn't mean much. But you'd rather have the 5 than the 2. All right, here's Griffey, who has struck out and walked. Ball 1. Griffey says the most important part of his swing is the placement of his hands. Valdez works him inside, 2-0. Many of baseball's top home run hitters have off-season weight conditioning programs, and they spend hours in the weight room during the season. Junior Griffey has never lifted weights. He says it's flexibility that counts. And then he says, look at Tiger Woods, who is his neighbor in Florida in the off-season. And Valdez behind Griffey 3-0. You don't think Pinello might give him the green light, do you? Maybe. Strike. 3-1. It's been 10 years since the Mariners selected Griffey in the draft, and he may well be the best player in baseball. Only 27. And Valdez has now walked a career-high 6 batters this afternoon. I was a little surprised Dave Wallace didn't go to the mound in the 3rd inning, especially after he walked Buhner, the 3rd man he walked in the inning. Because Dave says that Valdez is the one guy he has to stroke more than any other Dodgers starting pitcher. All right, here's Edgar Martinez, the man Reggie Jackson says is the best hitter in the American League. There goes Junior. Prince's throw. Great throw to Wilton Guerrero and a nail. Griffey Jr. Boy, Prince is some kind of a defensive catcher. And they get Junior. Third time they got him this year. 5-2, though, Seattle at the end of 4.
Fans have heard about the contest everyone's talking about. It's the Eagle Hardware and Garden Mariners 20th anniversary.
After once leading in Seattle today, 2-0, the Dodgers now trail 5-2 as we go to the 5th inning. Tom Prince to lead it off against Jamie Moyer. Prince flied to left his first time up. That's foul. 0-1. J.T. Snow returned to Anaheim this weekend as a member of the Giants and hit a 2-run homer this afternoon off Jason Dixon. And the Giants are leading behind William Van Lanningham 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Good breaking ball by Moyer. Ahead of Prince 0-2. Mike Piazza, as hot a hitter as there is in baseball at the moment. Prince slugs one to left field, but Jose Cruz is in place and makes the catch, and that's the first out. Folks, we hope you'll be at Dodger Stadium for the next exciting homestand after the Tuesday, Wednesday night against the Angels. It'll start Monday, June the 23rd, when the division rival Colorado Rockies make their first visit to Dodger Stadium for a 3-game set. The Dodgers will then host the San Diego Padres for 4, and the Texas Rangers come in for the first time for 2. To order tickets, you can call 213-224-1-HIT this afternoon. Operators are standing by. Here's Wilton Guerrero, or Will Guerrero, as they introduce him at the Kingdome. He grounded to third his first time up and takes a strike, 0-1. There's our old friend Ron Fairley. What a career he had with the Dodgers, first baseman, outfielder, now up here in Seattle in his 5th year as one of the Mariners broadcasters. And he told me a story that might give you longtime baseball fans a chuckle. Here's a foul ball past Reggie Smith. Recently, many of the Mariner players and Ron were watching television when film of one of the 4 World Series that Fairley played in for the Dodgers came on. Ron struck out, and the Seattle players, of course, got all over him, just razzed him to death. And then the cameras zeroed in on Sandy Koufax, who was pitching that game for the Dodgers, and Fairley swears as is true. Alex Rodriguez said to Ron, "Who is Sandy Koufax? I've never heard of him." Jay Buhner then said to Fairley, "Could Koufax throw hard?" Well, Sandy retired almost 9 years before Rodriguez was born, and Buhner was 2 years old when Koufax quit in 1966. Guerrero will be retired by Sorrento, and that is the second out in the Dodgers' 5th inning. But you hear more and more stories like that. I mean, the young players of today aren't into history. They say, you know, we played the game, and that's it. Fairley did a little research, which he also shared with me. In 1965, when Sandy struck out 382 batters, which is the record, he walked only 71 men. And Ron says that's the greatest difference in strikeouts to walks in history. 311. Here's our birthday boy, Mr. Butler. He's grounded to third, fly to center. And he lays off ball 1. Not only is Brett celebrating number 40 today, but Wade Boggs is 39. And Hall of Famer Billy Williams is 59. Brett trying for his 3rd bunt hit and missed it. Wade Boggs has been slumping with the Yankees, and so he changed the prescription for his contact lenses. And he went out today and had 2 hits in the first game of the doubleheader. The Yankees just beat the Marlins 8-5 in a game they once trailed 4-0. That's low. Gary Sheffield homered in the first game for the Marlins. Now in the second game, he's going to face his uncle, Dwight Gooden. That'll be interesting in Miami. They got a couple of hundred friends and relatives there today for that day-night doubleheader, although they're just going to wait 45 minutes between games. Butler takes a high strike and the count 2-2. Brett's wife, Eveline, is here, and she pulled a surprise on Brett last night. She flew in 3 of his best friends and their wives, and they surprised him at dinner. Chopper out to Joey Cora. And an easy inning for Jamie Moyer. He has retired 7 in a row since Piazza's infield single. At the halfway point tonight, at the Kingdome, it's 5-2 Mariners. Welcome back to the Kingdome in Seattle, everybody. I'm Ross Porter along with Vin Scully and Rick Mundy. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Everybody having fun, especially the Mariner fans. And Edgar Martinez, who was at the plate when Ken Griffey was caught stealing by Tom Prince in the last inning, leads off and takes a strike. Edgar has walked and fouled out today. He was on base all 5 times in yesterday's game. And Valdez misses inside, ball 1. Martinez had a home run yesterday for the 2nd game in a row, a double and 3 walks. Valdez has walked 6, a career high for the Rocket. And 2-1 to Martinez with Buhner on deck, and then Sorrento. Edgar uses the whole field to hit. Change misses, 3-1. Martinez will take whatever the pitcher gives him and spray the ball around. He's the first player since Stan Musial in 1946 to have 50-plus doubles in successive seasons. 3-2 now. Alex Rodriguez was saying if Edgar stays healthy, Junior could break the home run record. But Martinez has been injury-prone, 5 stints in the DL the last 4 years. And Martinez and Griffey were in the same starting lineup barely half the time the last 4 years. Foul back and out of play. In fact, up there, they say that Martinez is the glue to the Mariners' success. When Griffey and Rodriguez were on the disabled list last year, the Mariners still had a winning record. When Edgar was out with 4 broken ribs, they lost 12 of 21 games. That's fouled upstairs. Martinez had 29 homers 2 years ago, 26 last year. The one he hit yesterday was number 9. Valdez ready for another 3-2 pitch. And line to center, another base hit for the underrated Edgar Martinez. If he didn't play in a city like Seattle, imagine what a star he would be. Here's Jay Buhner. He has flied to center and walks. So Ramon Martinez took a pounding here yesterday. He threw 100 pitches in 4 innings. And the Mariners jumped all over him for 5 runs and 6 hits, and he would walk. Ramon walked 5, gave up a couple of homers. Today, Ishmael has walked 6, and that is the 5th Seattle hit of the day. They're passing out Jay Buhner baseball caps here at the Kingdome today. They've used his bald head as a marketing ploy since he came up here. They have Buhner Buzz Nights when the fans get shorn and then receive a free ticket to a Mariners game. There they are. Buhner's had back-to-back seasons of 40 and 44 home runs and 121 and 138 runs batted in. 1-2. There are only 24 men who've had 40 home runs 2 years in a row in Big League Baseball. Jay's always been a streaky hitter. He's a little more patient now than he used to be. And he takes inside 2-2. Jay's got a younger brother, Sean, who's playing first base at Lancaster in the Class A California League. And Jay says Sean had a 5-hit game a couple weeks ago. His team came from 10 runs behind and beat Bakersfield 20-17. They could have played that game here. Sean Ho charting pitches. He's not going to see the Mariners Tuesday night. He'll see the Angels. Valdez has a thought of going to second, but instead takes the easier out. Martinez will go to second, and Buhner's the first out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, here's the big man for Seattle so far today, Paul Sorrento. Sorrento homered to right in the second to get the Dodger lead to 2-1, his 10th home run of the season. And then he came up in the third. Valdez had walked 3, and with 2 outs, Sorrento went the other way and singled to left to drive home a couple. In the 4th, Espinosa singled, and with 2 out, Jose Cruz Jr. ripped a home run to right field. 6 home runs for Seattle here the last 2 days against the vaunted Dodger pitching staff. But remember, it's only 312 feet down the right field line here. Sereno had 23 homers last year. 3 of them were grand slams, 93 RBIs. Played mostly against right-handers, and he hit .289. Time called before Valdez pitched. Ismael Valdez has gotten into the 7th inning in only 1 of his last 5 games. He had gone 6 weeks since he'd walked even 3 batters in the game, and today he's already walked 6. On the corner for a strike. 1-1 to Sorrento. The Mariners so far today have 2 home runs and 3 singles. Yesterday they had 11 hits, and unbelievably only 1 was a single. The Mariners clouded 4 home runs and 6 doubles. That's high. Ramon says it was worse pitching here yesterday than it ever was at Coors Field in Denver. Of course, he's pitched some good games in Denver. 2-1 pitch. That's a strike. 2-2. We're going to the bottom of the 6th at Anaheim. Giants 3, Angels 1. Bottom of the 6th at Oakland. A's 5, Rockies 2. Matt Stairs has driven in all 5 runs for Oakland. 3-run homer, 2-run double. And another full count. Valdez has used a lot of pitches to be in the 5th inning. 57,114. That's the paid attendance today here. The 7th sellout for the Mariners in the Dome. And a record for 2 days. 114,439. That's great. That would have been ball 4 and Valdez's 7th walk, but Serrano couldn't yank the bat back in time. Ismael's next pitch will be his 100th. He has thrown 54 strikes. Last year's Seattle Mariners were the highest scoring team in baseball in 46 years. Set major league records for extra base hits and total bases. Averaged 4 extra base hits a game. And would you believe it? 7 walks by Ismael Valdez today in 4 1/3 innings. I made the observation on radio yesterday after seeing Martinez struggle whether Valdez will get a good night's sleep up here. He just looks like he's pitching scared. And here comes Wallace out to talk to him again. Larry Walker had his 20th homer of the season today for Colorado off Ariel Prieto in the 3rd inning to account for the Rocky run. Baltimore completed the 3-game series sweep in Atlanta. Lenny Webster hit a 2-run homer off Mark Wohlers in the 10th inning to win it. Randy Myers got his 23rd save. That's the Braves' first 4-game losing streak this year. And how about the Orioles? 45-19. An over 700 winning percentage. And Davy Johnson's club is 24-12 on the road. Cleveland and St. Louis had a great pitching duel for 7 innings. Charles Nagy and Todd Stottlemyre, nothing. Nagy went out working on a 2-hitter. Cleveland got 4 in the 8th and 5 in the 9th and won 9-2. And they had almost 47,000 at Busch Stadium. All right, here's Dan Wilson. He flied to center and struck out swinging. Dan was one of 5 Mariners who made the American League All-Star team last year. They say he might be the club's best situational hitter. He's a good hit-and-run man, too. And Valdez misses, and he's behind another hitter, 2-0. This has been a struggle for Valdez ever since they finished the national anthem. Wilson at .285 here last year, 18 home runs, 83 RBIs. And he slugs one to the alley in left center. Ashley racing over to one-handed. And the runners have to get back. So Billy got a good jump on that ball. Wilson hit it hard. 2 men out in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that'll bring on Russ Davis. Davis has struck out twice today. Davis, like Edgar Martinez, had a home run here Friday night against the Rockies, and they both homered yesterday. The Mariners and the Rockies each began the day with 98 home runs to lead the majors. Seattle now has 100. Colorado has 99. Seattle has 145 doubles, second only to Montreal's 153. The Expos had 5 doubles today, and ripping the Tigers 10-2. Ryan McGuire out of Woodland Hills and UCLA had a couple of RBI doubles. Had Montreal won its 9th in a row. The Expos are only 3.5 games behind the Braves now in the National League East. Valdez is ahead of the hitter, 0-2. Former Dodger Jose Offerman had 4 hits and drove in 3 runs today, and Kansas City pounded Pittsburgh 8-1. The crowd in Pittsburgh was almost 36,000 for 3 games in Pittsburgh, 108,000 this weekend. Yes, I think interleague baseball is very popular. Way outside, 1-2. Southern Californian Kevin Apier got the win for the Royals today, went 5 and had to leave with tightness in the hamstring. Mariners 5, Dodgers 2. Seattle scored in each of the last 3 innings off Valdez. They got 2 men on now with 2 out. And the 1-2 pitch to Russ Davis. Half swing, bounce away from Prince. And the runners are going to both move into scoring position. Probably would be a wild pitch. It was a breaking ball. Martinez to third, Sorrento to second. Candiotti was charged with a wild pitch yesterday to allow one of the Seattle runs to score, although it looked like it should have been a fastball on Piazza. He tried to box a knuckleball. Count to Davis. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a big man for Valdez to get. He doesn't want the Dodgers to be down 7-2. 3-2. How many full count pitches has he had today? A lot. Houston got a run in the 9th. Pat Listad squeezed it home, and the Astros beat Minnesota 3-2. Over 28,000 today at the Astrodome. Ismael Valdez just walked his 8th man. He walked 2 in the first, didn't walk anybody in the second, walked 3 in the third, walked 1 in the fourth, he walked 2 in the 5th. Oh, he said, I can't believe it. Now the Dodgers are going to back him up in the bullpen as Espinosa steps in. He's grounded to third, single, and scored a run. Left-hander Mark Guthrie begins to loosen up along the right field line. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Ball 1. Toronto clobbered Philadelphia today 11-1. Joe Carter got his 2,000th career hit, a 2-run double in the first inning. It was all the Blue Jays and Pat Hinkin needed. But the Blue Jays wound up with 2 2-run doubles and 3 1-run doubles. Over 30,000 at Veterans Stadium today. 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Seattle. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th inning. 3 on, 2 out. Good fastball in the outside corner for a strike. When the Dodgers bat in the 6th, they'll have Zeal, Piazza, and Karras coming up against Jamie Moyer. Moyer's been sitting in that dugout a long time. 1-2 to Espinosa. Dodgers trying to turn it around. They've lost 12 of their last 18. 18 of the past 27. They've gone from 7 games over 500 to 2 games below. And if they don't rally today, they'll be 3 under the break-even figure for the first time this year. 112 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. Way too many. Fastball on the hand. Chicago's Cubs edge Milwaukee today 4-3. 37,990 at Wrigley Field. I'll tell you, the fire marshal must have been looking the other way in Chicago. They're not supposed to get 38,000 in that ballpark. Curveball. The Rocket misses. 2-2 to Espinosa. The White Sox embarrassed the Reds in Cincinnati. Chicago had 18 hits and beat the Reds 14-6. Ex-Angel catcher George Fabregas of the White Sox had 4 hits and 5 RBIs. Ozzie Guillen had 4 hits. Valdez trying to get the final out. He did. Strike 3 called. His 4th strikeout of the day. A threat, but nothing more. No runs, a hit, 3 more left at the end of 5. 5-2 Seattle. Ismael Valdez wants a cup of water. He's had a rough afternoon. So is Bill Russell. That's Billy DeLury, the Dodger traveling secretary, standing there in the hallway, passed by Eric Karras. What a job Billy does, getting us all around the country. All of the arrangements have to be made, buses and hotels and airplanes. 5-2 Mariners. We go to the 6th inning. Todd Zeile has grounded out twice today. Once to first, one to short. Todd was 4 for 11 at the Kingdome last year when he came with the Orioles. Chases one, doesn't get it. I was curious, knowing that Valdez had walked 8 men today in 5 innings. So I just checked to see what the Dodger record is for one pitcher and walks in one game. 1-2 to Zeile. The record is 11. And there are several pitchers that did it. 1906, 1910, 1944. The one name that you might know, Van Lingle Mungo did it, 1932. And of course, all those pitchers were with the Brooklyn Dodgers. There's no indication who holds the LA Dodger record for most walks in a 9-inning game. Bouncing up there, 2-2. Here's one. Most hits allowed by a Dodger pitcher in a 9-inning game. Jeff Pfeiffer in 1919 versus the Philadelphia Phillies. 23 hits. And then you see 19 innings Jeff pitched that day, so that wasn't too bad. I think his arm hurt at the end of that game. Dad and son. Hope you're having a good Father's Day, Dad, wherever you are. Breaking ball rolled out to Espinosa in shallow left field. And he throws out Zeile. 1 out. Fans, make plans now for you and your family to be at Dodger Stadium Tuesday and Wednesday nights as the Dodgers host their first ever Interleague Series with Tim Salmon, Chuck Finley, and the Crosstown Angels. Visit the Dodger Stadium Advanced Ticket Office, any ETM ticket machine at participating Hughes, Pavilions, and Gelson's, or call 213-224-1-HIT. Mike Piazza today has struck out in single. 10 for 15 on this trip to Oakland and Seattle. And he takes inside. Piazza in his last 6 at-bats before today had 1 home run, 3 doubles, a single, and a walk. And so he's been on base 7 of the last 8 at-bats. Had his 12th 4-hit game in the majors yesterday when he homered, doubled twice, and singled. And Moyer bounces that one. Mike picked up 12 points yesterday, went up to 367. 3rd best in the league behind Larry Walker and Tony Gwynn. And with his hit today, now has a 9-game hitting streak. Five to 2 in favor of the Mariners. Trying to win their 6th straight. It'll be a season high for them. They won 6 straight at home already. This will be number 7. 34-year-old Jamie Moyer backed up now in the bullpen by Scott Sanders, the former San Diego Padre. Moyer has won 18 of his last 23 decisions. Hadn't faced the Dodgers since 1988, so this is a completely new group of Los Angeles Dodgers for Jamie. Piazza lifts a fly ball into right center field, and Gold Glove Jay Buhner is waiting for it. That's out number 2. The Pacific Telesis Network is proud to salute Eric Karras for his work with the St. Francis Medical Center and the Big Brothers of Greater Los Angeles. Eric clubbed his 5th home run in the last 5 games in the 2nd inning to give the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. Then he grounded to second his last time up. Eric had his 7th 2-home-run game in the National League yesterday. Strangely, the Dodgers had not had any of their players have 2 home runs in the game, and now in the last week, they've had Todd Zeile, Raul Mondesi, and Karras do it. Eric's working on standing more erect at the plate, not crouching as much, and he slugged one down in the left field corner, and it's a foul ball. Eric thought it was going to be foul. He stopped, and they started again. That was Jamie Moyer's 100th pitch today. He has thrown 65 strikes. A much better strike-ball ratio than Ismael Valdez. Karras has now driven in 19 runs the last 22 games. Reggie Smith told him to do away with his lateral move toward the pitcher. And off the hands. 2 balls, 1 strike. Oakland now leading Colorado 5-2 in the top of the 7th. San Francisco 3, Angels 1, bottom of the 7th. Ground ball to the left of Espinosa, who comes up with it and throws him out. And Jamie Moyer rolling along. He's retired 10 in a row and 14 of the last 15. To the bottom of the 6th inning, 5-2 Mariners. Ismael Valdez is through after a very arduous 5 innings today at the Kingdome. He gave up 5 runs, all of them earned, 5 hits, struck out 5, but he walked a career-high 8. He had never before walked more than 5 men in a game. Allowed a couple of home runs today to Paul Sorrento and Jose Cruz Jr. And Mark Guthrie will pick up for him here in the bottom of the 6th inning, ready to face Joey Cora, Cruz, and Ken Griffey Jr. So yesterday, Ramon Martinez went 4 innings. He allowed 5 runs, all of them earned. Today, Valdez goes 5. He allows 5 runs, all of them earned. Those men struck out 5. Ramon walked 5. Ismael walked 8. Joey Cora 0 for 3 today. He and Dan Wilson are the only Mariners not to have reached against Valdez. That's outside. 2-0. Cora usually makes an opposing pitcher show his pitches, and he knows how to work a pitcher. Ball 3. The other Seattle hitters get to see a lot of pitches early when Joey is up. And, of course, the opposing pitchers are using everything in their arsenal to try to get Cora out so the big guns behind him don't hurt as much. He takes a strike. 3-1. Cora's a switch hitter, but Lou Piniella usually only plays Joey against right-handed pitchers. Lifted to center field. Butler has the play. That's the first down. This day in Dodger history, 21 years ago today, the Dodgers acquired Reggie Smith from the Cardinals in exchange for Joe Ferguson, Bobby Deathridge, and Freddie Tisdale. Reggie now the Dodgers hitting instructor and first base coach. Hit more home runs than any switch hitters in the history of baseball except for Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray. Jose turning around to bat right-handed. Doesn't have a hit right-handed all year. 0 for 10 since coming up from Tacoma. Guthrie gets it in for a strike, 1-1. A year ago, the Mariners played 7 two-game series, and the Dodgers played 8, 4 of them on the road. What a change this year. Grounded foul. This year, the Mariners are playing 27 two-game series, and the Dodgers 25 due to interleague play. Interleague play has already been approved for next year, but the schedule has not been okayed, and I'll tell you, the players want some changes. One proposal is to have teams make only 1 visit to some cities outside their division for a 4-game series. 2-2 to Cruz. The Mariners are going to fly over 50,000 miles this season. That is a new Major League record. Five-2 Mariners, sixth inning. One out, nobody on. And Guthrie's 2-2 pitch. Foul back. Great to see Mike Blowers here. Mike reports his knee is fine after surgery. The ex-Dodger returning to the Mariners. He's not playing much. He hit 120 in April, 314 in May. Currently batting .234, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. 3-2 to Cruz. There's Mike. One of the nice guys in baseball. The Mariners had a 40% player turnover following the 1995 season. Blowers left, went to the Dodgers. They had a 33% turnover after last year. The 9th Seattle batter of the day draws a walk. Cruz has been on all 4 times, and he's walked 3 times. And here's the youngster who had struck out 9 times in his last 4 games. Here's Junior. Griffey has struck out and walked twice. Seattle has Griffey, Alex Rodriguez, Jay Buhner, and Edgar Martinez signed at least through the 1997 season. They might have the strongest batting order in baseball. Those 4 guys combined last year to average 39 home runs, 126 RBIs, and a .315 batting average. Inside for a ball. Griffey has worn out Mark Guthrie. 10 hits in 20 at-bats. He goes way back. Foul. 1-1. Mark said he faced Ken in the Class A California League in 1988. And he said, I did pretty well against him for a while. And then one day on a 3-0 pitch, I hit him right between the shoulder blades. Mark says he thinks Ken thought he did it on purpose, although he didn't. And since then, Griffey has, in Mark's words, beaten the tar out of me. So they hook up today in the big leagues, and the curveball is slugged to center field. Butler, though, has a play on this one, and that's the second out. Back to first goes Cruz. So Griffey 0 for 2 today. Here's Edgar Martinez. He's walked, fouled out, and singled. Talking about the fact that Ken Griffey Jr. has never lifted weights. He prefers an extensive regimen of stretching, and he has never been on the disabled list for the back and hamstring injuries so common to other sluggers in baseball. 5-2 Mariners in the 6th, and Martinez takes high, ball 1. Dodgers home Tuesday night to face the Angels. After the first 3 days of interleague play, the American League held a 17-14 edge over the National League. And so far today, the American League has won 6 of the 9 games. So it's 23-17 at the moment. All 2-0. You first say, well, if you're a National League fan and you want bragging rights, that's not good. And then if you're a Dodger fan, you say, wait a minute. Some of those clubs in the National League who are losing might wind up battling the Dodgers for the playoffs. Foul ball, carrying back and out of play. $57,114 here today, 114,000 for the 2-game Dodger-Mariners series, a record of the Kingdome. Fouled into Prince's glove, 2-2. Mel Stottlemyre, who is the Yankee pitching coach, has said, as good as Junior Griffey is, Edgar Martinez is probably a better pure hitter. Nearly .340 lifetime average against left-handers in Guthrie. Besides, he'll chase Cruz back. Angels batting in the bottom of the seventh, trailing the Giants 3-1. Julian Taveras has relieved William Van Landingham in the seventh. The Angels have 2 on, 2 out. Jason Dixon is still pitching for the Angels. J.T. Snow's home run the difference. He is some hitter. Cruz stops at second. So Edgar Martinez, who's hit .365 the last 2 weeks, has 2 of the Mariners' 6 hits today against the Dodgers. That'll give Jay Buhner a chance. He's flied out, walked, and bounced back to the pitcher. Dodgers are home for only 2 nights, Tuesday and Wednesday against the Angels, then to San Francisco for 4 games, next Thursday through Sunday. Ball 1. When the Dodgers bat in the 7th, Mondesi, Ashley, and Gagne. Buhner has been troubled by low and away sliders. Of course, Guthrie has the good fork ball. We'll be with you here on Channel 5 Thursday and Friday night from San Francisco, the opening 2 games of that series. Another low one, 2-0. Buhner has hit 21 home runs or more in each of the last 6 years. And in 5 of those seasons, Jay's had 25 or more. Red section to show you where he hits best. And Guthrie behind him, 3-0. Paul Sereno is on deck. Buhner wanted to swing and took inside. The 10th walk doled out by the 2 Dodger pitchers today. 8 by Valdez, now 2 by Guthrie. I mean, you're asking for a pounding up here when you do that in this ballpark to this team. Well, Valdez knows. Worst control of his life in the major leagues today. And now here comes Mike Blowers. Mike said he missed the Dodger players. He really enjoyed being with them. He was disappointed the knee injury put him out last year, and the Dodgers went out and signed Todd Zeile in the offseason, but Mike was able to sign a minor league contract with the Mariners, could come back. He said, Seattle's home for me. And look at that. 456 with the bases loaded. Paul Sereno was .320 career with the bases loaded when he singled in 2. Zeile has hit 12 home runs with the Dodgers in the first 2.5 months. Blowers trying to supply the knockout punch to Guthrie. Went too far, 0-1. As we mentioned, the Mariners are trying to find a quality relief pitcher somewhere. And the speculation, if they make a deal, Mike Blowers might be included in it, since he's not playing that much. Russ Davis is really starting to hit the ball. He's playing about every day at third. Mike's played a little first base this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 2 Mariners. They got Cruz at third, Martinez at second, Buhner at first, 2 men out in the 6th inning. And Guthrie wants Prince to go through some more signs. One ball, 1 strike to Blowers, and Mark isn't ready yet. Houston moved back into first place in the Central Division this afternoon by percentage points over Pittsburgh. The Astros winning, the Pirates losing. Do you know the Cincinnati Reds, who are 12 games under 500, only 5 games out of first place? Flowers sends a fly ball to Mondesi. The Reds are as close to the top as the Dodgers. So Guthrie gets out of it. Vin will be back in a moment at the end of 6. Mariners 5, Dodgers 2.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the great indoors of the Pacific Northwest. Honestly, just between you and me, don't you hate walks? I mean, 10 bases on balls, that's enough to drive a manager crazy. It gets infielders and outfielders daydreaming, and it is just oppressive. And I guess, with all the counting about home runs here, they get a lot of base on balls. Well, the Dodgers, perhaps intimidated that way, have given the 10. They're still in the game. It's 5-2 Seattle. Let's take a look at the 7th inning. Scott Sanders will pick up for Jamie Moyer. Moyer had a strained left arm. They were very careful bringing him along nicely, and now they have Scott Sanders come out. Sanders has been fighting his mechanics. They have really been working on him. So we'll see how he goes. Raul Mondesi to start it off. Mondesi is grounded out and popped up 0 for 2. Ball 2. Sanders has certainly been around. You may remember him. He was with San Diego for about 3.5 years. Out of Hannibal, Missouri. Shoeless Joe from Hannibal, Mo. 2-1. Mondesi grounded to short and popped up. Yesterday, he went 0 for 4, so he's still looking for a hit here in the great indoors. That's a strike. Sanders very tough on right-handers last year. They hit only .214 against him. And Mondesi can agree with that. So Mondesi is shut down here. And he's hot. 1 away. Boy, when you realize that Mike Piazza's base hit in the 3rd inning was just a dribbler, and that Russ Davis charged barehanded and threw it away. Outside of that little hit, the Dodgers haven't done anything offensively since Gagne doubled in the 2nd inning, and there are wisps of smoke coming out of Mondesi's ears. He is furious. And here's Ashley. Strike. Ashley doubled high off the scoreboard as you see Mike Blowers taking over at first base, having batted for Paul Sorrento. Last time up, Ashley struck out. 1-1. So Jamie Moyer was absolutely brilliant for 6 innings. 2 runs and 4 hits. The big thing, no walks, in direct contrast to the 10 walks the Dodger pitchers, Valdez and Guthrie, have given up. Foul back. You know, another thing, they're always talking about home runs, but if you look at walks, the Mariners have gotten 285 walks this year, and I'm sure a lot of them here by intimidated pitchers. 2-2. But the home pitchers are not intimidated. They throw strikes. 2 out in the 7th inning. Ken Griffey Jr. gets some walks, but only 30. And here's Gagne, doubled and lost a hit on a fine play by Joey Cora. 5-2 Mariners, top of the 7th, 2 out. A reminder, Ken Griffey Jr. will be our guest on a Father's Day special interview on the postgame show. 4-1. Yes, indeed, don't we? And moms, too. Scott Sanders trying to shut down Gagne and the Dodgers. Sanders had elbow troubles, and part of it brought on by his delivery. Trying to accommodate the elbow, he got all out of whack mechanically. Bad pitch, bad swing, and the count 1-2. That's really what Sanders likes to do, keep the ball down. In fact, he loves to throw sliders in the dirt and make the hitters chase him. The crowd wants him to strike out the side. Just missed. Boy, you chase a pitch in the dirt and you're able to lay off that one. Sanders, 28 years old. He's certainly big enough. He's 6'4", 220. Fouled out of play. So yesterday, a wild 9-8 game. But the Dodgers have been thoroughly restrained so far. It's 5-2 Mariners, 7th inning, 2 out. That's where he likes to go, in the dirt with the slider. That was right out of the scouting report, and Sanders strikes out the side. And for the Dodgers, another slice of humble pie.
All right, everybody up on your...
Oh, yes, Daddy getting a little sugar. Thank heavens for little girls. Say, it's time once again for the Aflac Trivia question. Which 2 Dodger National League Rookies of the Year later became Major League managers? We'll give you the answer in the top of the inning. The Dodgers thoroughly frustrated, and the Mariners sailing along nicely. The Giants leading Anaheim 3-1 in the 8th inning. And that's a drive to deep left, and she is gone. Home run for Wilson, 6-2 Mariners. Hits it out. That would be the 3rd home run hit by the Mariners today. They have hit 7 home runs against the Dodger pitchers in 2 days. So now you know why the Dodgers have walked 16 batters in 2 games. They have been cowed. A one-hopper under Zeal's glove. So we'll see how they rule that for Russ Davis. And it'll go as a base hit. Alvaro Espinosa coming up, who is 1 for 3. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Mariners, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Ball 1, 1-0. If the Giants beat Anaheim, the Mariners will be 3.5 games in front of the Angels if they win, and the Giants would be 6 games in front of the Dodgers if they lose. Down in the pen, Darren Hall loosening up. 1 ball and no strikes to Espinosa. A bunt. Wow. Prince has to go late to second. I'm surprised he tried that play. So Espinosa drops the bunt down. Prince just trying too hard to get somebody, but it was much too late. It looks like it's going to be a sacrifice fielder's choice. So first and second, nobody out. 6-2 Seattle, and Joey Cora at the plate. Fouled out, looped out, and flied out twice. 0 for 4. Dodgers look bunt. He bunts it down to Zeal, who throws it to Carroll. And the sacrifice works to move him up a notch. So with 1 out, second and third, both Cora and Espinosa show they can get the ball down. And here's Cruz. Cruz has walked 3 times. He was looking for his first hit of the year, right-handed, when he walked in the 6th inning. He's still looking for it. 0-1. His home run came left-handed batting against Valdez. 6-2 Mariners, bottom of the 7th. Cruz hitting .280. A fly ball into very shallow left. It's going to fall. 1 run will score. And it is 7-2 Mariners. A fly ball single, his first hit of the year as a right-handed batter. He'll take it. And now, Ken Griffey Jr. coming up. Cruz with 3 RBIs. Center fielder, Ken Griffey. 7 runs and 9 hits for the Mariners. 2 runs and 4 hits for the Dodgers. It is indeed Griffey land. And reminder, on this special Father's Day, we figured it would be a good idea to seize the moment, seize the opportunity, and we'll visit with Griffey after the game. Junior struck out, walked twice, and flied to center. Ball 1. Last year, he hit just under 300 against left-hand pitching, and he hit 21 home runs off left-handers. His home run in this series, the 2 games against Candiotti. And the chant, Griffey, Griffey, Griffey. That's his spot. The hottest part of the zone for him. Ball 3. Waiting his turn on deck, Edgar Martinez. He walks again. So Griffey walks for the 3rd time today. That is the 11th walk given up by Dodger pitchers who have just been thoroughly intimidated by the surroundings. Bill Russell coming out. And he's going to bring in Darren Hall to pitch to Edgar Martinez. So as Hall comes walking in from the bullpen, we'll pause for this. To the tune of YMCA. The Dodgers being pushed around here in the great indoors. It is 7-2 in favor of the Mariners. And now it's Darren Hall's turn, and what a spot. He's got Edgar Martinez, followed by Jay Buhner, with the bases loaded and 1 out. Martinez has walked, fouled out, and then had a couple of base hits. So Darren will put that 1 and 2 and a 1.9 ERA on the line. Standing room only. Russ Davis at third, Cruz at second, Griffey at first. 1 out. Hall not ready. Seven runs, 9 hits for the Mariners, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Right. Tom Candiotti is warming up in a hurry in the Dodger bullpen. And now we'll check again down there, and it's Antonio Osuna who's going to get up. Two. Davis, Cruz, and Griffey out there on the line. Ball 1. Mariners scored 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 2 so far here in the 7th. The only Dodger runs came way back in the 2nd inning. High fly ball. Butler's going to catch it, but he can't throw it. So tagging up easily to score will be Davis. Make it Espinosa, I'm sorry. So it's a 3-run inning, 8-2 Mariners, and Jay Buhner coming up. That run is charged to Guthrie. Buhner is flied to center, walked twice, hit back to the box. Ball 1. 8 runs, 9 hits for the Mariners, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Those are the Jay Buhner caps that were given out to the kids here in the ballpark. Right. 1-1. Home run, 2 singles, a walk, and 2 sacrifices, plus a scoring and sacrifice fly ball. Right. One and 2 to Buhner. The Dodgers have Prince, Guerrero, and Butler due up in the 8th inning. Ground ball to Guerrero. He'll get his man, and the damage is done, but there's 3 more runs on the board. At the end of 7, 8-2 Mariners. Friends, let's take a moment to answer the Aflac trivia question. The 2 Dodgers National League Rookies of the Year who became Major League managers are, you got it, Frank Howard and Jim Lefevre. Howard, the 1960 award winner, managed the Padres and Mets. Frenchie piloted the Mariners and the Cubs after winning the Rookie Award in 1965. Nelson Liriano is coming up. To bat for Tom Prince, though Liriano, Guerrero, and Butler. Then Piazza, the DH, will put on the gear. Ball one to Liriano. High fly ball to right field. Buhner going back on the track at the base of the wall. He's got it. Buhner looking up into the ceiling as if there was something up there that bothered him. But he made the play. One away. Watch him looking at the fence, gauging it again. And if you can take your eyes up the ball twice, you don't have a problem, but there was something up there that seemed to distract him. But he made the play. One away. Here's Guerrero, 0 for 2. I mean, this might be a phone booth, so to speak. But as far as the Dodger hitters are concerned, it's more like Grand Canyon. They have had one squib single, Mike Piazza, since the second inning. That's all. Nada. One and one. Scott Sanders finishing up for Jamie Moyer. Dodgers have only had 4 base runners all day. One of them, Karras, was just going around after hitting the home run. Line to center, but it's at Junior. Two down in the 8th. And Brett Butler coming up. Butler on his birthday has not gotten a present. Grounded to third, fly to center, grounded out. Had a tough at-bat against Moyer when he lost the bat 3 times. Last 15 Dodgers in a row have gone down. Pretty easy day in the ballpark for Piniella so far, leading by 6. It's 4-1 Giants, bottom of the 8th. A miserable day for Bill Russell. His pitchers have given up 11 walks. Butler draws a walk. And would you believe the Dodgers, who have given up 11, that's the first walk that they've received. Zeal, 3 ground balls. Todd 0 for 3. Socha keeping track. Zeal with Piazza on deck. One ball and no strikes. We're in the 8th, 8-2 Mariners. Tuesday night, the Dodgers and the Angels, Chan Ho Park, and Chuck Finley. Wednesday night, Hideo Nomo, the Angels undecided for Wednesday. 1-1. Two and one. He likes to keep that ball down, but Zeal won't go after it, and the count 3-1. So Sanders, who struck out the side in the 7th inning, got the first 2 outs here, walked Butler, and a 3-1 count to Zeal. So he walks, and Piazza coming up with 2 on and 2 out. Nardi Contreras, the pitching coach for Lou Piniella, going out to talk to Scott Sanders. Piazza all the while visiting with Durwood Merrill, the plate umpire. Mike struck out, had a little squib single to third in the 3rd inning and flied to right. So Piazza 1 for 3. It wasn't much, but he'll take it. The Dodgers have not been able to really do anything. They got 2 runs in the 2nd inning, and they have not been heard from. Now with walks and 2 out, they have 2 on. 4-1. The Mariner pitching staff, remember, has an ERA of about 5.5. Right. Down in the bullpen, Bobby Ayala, who closed up the game yesterday, gets back up. 1-1. Little foul. 1-2. Sanders with the ball, but Piazza wants him to look at it. They'll give it to Durwood Merrill. He doesn't look at it. He just automatically puts a new one in play. So then Wilson said, wait a minute, is that ball good enough? And Darrell said, yeah, okay. So he gave it back to him. And so the same ball is in play. 1-2 to Mike Piazza. Butler at second, Zeal at first on walks. 2 out in the 8th. The Dodgers have not had a hit since the 3rd inning, and they're down 8-2. The Mariners have 3 home runs today. That gives them 7 home runs in the 2 games. The Dodgers had 3 home runs yesterday. They have 1 today. And with 2 walks, somehow trying to get back in the game. Butler and Zeal out there. 1-2 to Mike, hitting .367. 12 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Piazza with 4 hits yesterday and the infield single today. He's had 10 hits in the 4 games against the American League. 2-2. Little bouncer over the mound. Nice big hop, and the tag by Espinosa on the bag. So the Dodgers go quietly, and at the end of 7.5, it's Mariners 8, Dodgers 2. Friends, this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Dodgers, which also employs the announcers, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of the game without the written consent of the Dodgers is prohibited. Dodgers make a couple of changes. Roger Cedeno will take over in center field for Brett Butler. Mike Piazza, who had been the DH, puts on the gear for Tom Prince. And out on the mound, Antonio Osuna. Bottom of the 8th, Mike Blowers who pinch hit with the bases loaded and flied out and then stayed in, will be the first batter. And he drives it to right. Mondesi to the track, to the wall. It's going to be off the wall. And Blowers goes into second base standing with a double. So Mike Blowers stays in and haunts his old mates with a double to right. It was Osuna, remember, who gave up the home run to right field to Russ Davis yesterday to give the Mariners the 9-8 win. And now he's greeted with a double to right by Blowers. Dan Wilson flied to center, struck out, flied to left, and then homered. Home run against Guthrie. 8-2 Mariners, bottom of the 8th. Ball one. When the Dodgers bat in the 9th, Karras, Mondesi, and Ashley. No swing, says Dale Scott. 2-0. Right. And 2 strikes to Dan Wilson. 8-2 Mariners in the 8th. The Angels Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium. They're in the top of the 9th in Anaheim. The Giants winning that game 4-1. Foul back. Park will be on the mound Tuesday night against Chuck Finley. Two and two. Fouled away. The Dodgers will go home to play the Angels, and the Mariners will go on the road to play the Giants. Two balls, 2 strikes. So that'll do it for Wilson. And with 1 out, Russ Davis coming up.
Third baseman, Russ Davis.
Davis homered to beat Osuna and the Dodgers in the 9th inning yesterday, so this will be their second matchup. Davis batting .303, 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Becoming a good replacement when they got him from the Yankees to replace Mike Blowers. One and 0. Back. Dodgers, sobering thought today. Yesterday, 9-8, all kinds of fireworks. And even though they lost, they felt that it was a good ball game and that they would score plenty here. But they haven't. One and two to Russ. He has struck out twice, walked and singled. He had struck out twice yesterday. He also had 2 doubles and then the game-winning home run. 1 and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. So that's the way it is in baseball. Yesterday a home run, today a strikeout. Same 2 men. And that'll bring up Alvaro Espinosa. That's like in golf. You see a fella make a bad shot, then the next swing he makes a great shot, and everybody says, same golfer. Espinosa, a single to right in the 4th inning. He was aboard when Cruz homered. Then he sacrificed in the 7th, and that's when Tom Prince threw late to second, and that was part of a 3-run inning. It is not nail-biting time in Seattle. They're breezing 8-2. To repeat, when the Dodgers bat in the 9th, Karras, Mondesi, and Ashley. It's been all Seattle starting in the 3rd inning. They'd gotten 1 in the 2nd. So they picked up 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 3 in the 7th. They have a commanding lead. Check swing foul. So he's still there, 1 and 2. That might be home and road. You have to have a broad back to carry that name. Gorsinski. Seattle, with a base hit here or there, could have dismantled the Dodgers today. They're leading handily anyway. They've left 7 men in scoring position, and yet we're going to the 9th, and the Mariners are leading 8-2. Friends, as you probably know, this week baseball is participating in the Cap Cure Home Run Challenge. For every Major League home run hit from June 13th through the 18th, $25,000 will be donated to help find a cure for prostate cancer. For more information, call 1-800-547-CURE. Now, there were 22 home runs hit in interleague play today, not counting ours. That's $550,000. We had 4 home runs hit today for another $100,000 in this game. So all told today, $650,000 will be donated to help find a cure for prostate cancer. You see the sign, Welcome Back Lee, and if anyone can understand what we are trying to do, it is Lee Elia sitting next to Nardi Contreras, the pitching coach. Lee Elia on the left, who at one time managed the Philadelphia Phillies, had to leave the Mariners. He was gone for several weeks. He was diagnosed as having prostate cancer. However, Lee said they caught it very, very early, and he feels confident that he will weather the storm, and we pray he will. But as I understand it, there'll be something like 43,000 men to die of prostate cancer this year. So anyway, we're trying to bring up as much money as possible based on Major League home runs. Now let's see. The umpires are checking lineup cards. Bill Russell talking to Durwood Merrill. The Dodgers are due to send up Eric Karros, Raul Mondesi, and Billy Ashley. There did not appear to be an argument. It seems more like a point of discussion, and it's broken up. 8 runs, 10 hits for the Mariners, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. And we're heading for the 9th with Karros to start it off. Eric homered and grounded out twice, 1 for 3. Scott Sanders finishing up for Jamie Moyer. Right. So Mike Scioscia checking the lineup card. The Dodgers want to figure out about the DH. That's a line drive base hit to center. So Karros comes up with his second hit to lead off the 9th inning. Remember when Tom Prince went out, Mike Piazza, the DH, took over behind the plate. So Russell, Reggie Smith et al. Wanted to discuss it with the umpires. And the batter is Raul Mondesi. Raul Mondesi grounded to short, popped up and struck out. Remember how hot he was in the 7th inning when he struck out. Mondesi hitting .284. He has not had a hit here in the Kingdome. That's enough to make you hot. He's 0 for 7. Mariners 8, Dodgers 2, top of the 9th. No swing, says Dale Scott. You can see the homework of Mike Scioscia, keeping track of the comings and goings. The most runs the Dodgers scored in an inning this year was way back in early April. They scored 9 against Pittsburgh. They need 6 just to get even today. 2-1. Now Sanders, who walked 2, remember, in the 8th inning, struggling 3-1 with Mondesi. He does have the luxury of room for error, however, leading by 6 in the 9th. Fouled away, and the count 3-2. That glove, the cap that they gave out in honor of Jay Buhner. Ground ball hard over third, down the line. That'll be an extra base hit. Karros going into third, and they will hold him. This is no time to take chances. On a double by Mondesi, his first hit in the Kingdome. So second and third, nobody out, and Billy Ashley the batter with Greg Gagne to follow. Nardi Contreras called to the pen, and Bobby Ayala, I think, will answer the call again. We'll check. Yep. Ayala has a bad foot, but he's pitching anyway. An off-the-field accident. He pitched yesterday, and they have him up now. So here's Ashley. Ball one. And hold everything. Lou Piniella slowly walking out of the dugout. So we'll see if he's bringing a hook. You know, the darndest manager that I ever observed was Rogers Hornsby, who managed the Cincinnati Reds. Hornsby never went to the mound to take his pitcher out. He would whistle like you would whistle for a cab, and the pitcher would look over and drop his head and walk off the field. Hornsby said that's a way that no one could talk me into letting him stay, but Piniella has let him stay. One ball and no strikes to Billy Ashley. Second and third, nobody out in the ninth. The Dodgers trying somehow to get back in the game. Right. Billy doubled high off the scoreboard in right field and then struck out twice. Two and one. Karras at third, Mondesi at second, nobody out. Foul back. 2 and 2. 57,114 today. 57,345 yesterday. Games were sold out weeks ago. Two and two. Got him. So Ashley caught looking, strikes out a third time. One down in the ninth. 4 strikeouts for Sanders, and Greg Gagne will be the batter. Gagne, double to left, lost a hit on a dazzling play by Joey Cora and struck out. Ball one. On deck, Eric Anthony. Two and 0. Karras and Mondesi just waiting with one out. Right. 2 and 1. Two and 2 the count. So Sanders now with one out, runners at second and third, and Gagne the batter. Foul back. It's all over in Anaheim. The Giants beat the Angels 4-1. So Seattle can go 3.5 in front of Anaheim, and the Dodgers could fall 6 behind the Giants. 2-2 to Gagne. Five strikeouts for Sanders. 2 out in the ninth. There's the final on the Giant game. We might run the board a little for you. Oakland beat Colorado 5-2. Cubs over Milwaukee 4-3. 10-2 Montreal over Detroit. 11-1 Toronto beat Philadelphia. 14-6 White Sox over Cincinnati. 8-1 Kansas City over Pittsburgh. 5-3 Baltimore over Atlanta. 8-5 Yankees beat Florida. 9-2 Cleveland over St. Louis. 1 ball and no strikes to the pinch hitter Eric Anthony. Foul back. Eric played here, so at least he's familiar with the territory. Only had 55 at-bats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike. So just to really underline their frustration, as if things weren't bad enough, the Dodgers had 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. Ashley struck out, Gagne struck out, and the count 2 strikes on Anthony. High pop fly. Going out is Espinosa. The easier play is for Cruz, and that's it. The Dodgers will escape the Kingdome, and the Mariners beat them 9-8 yesterday and 8-2 today. We'll be back.